Am I live? Ah, crap. I should probably put these on too. There, now I look normal. I can see the chat. I'm using OBS. I assume you can hear me now. I'm going to check on my phone while I mutter. Mutter, mutter. Oh, hey, look, there's my little notification. And there's a chance of rain on Friday. Well, there you go. All right. Well, that's fun. I do have this on slow mode. It's like a 10-second delay. If I think I can change that if it tends to be too much. And you can hear me? Good. That should have been my next question. And the only people who can comment are people who've been subbed for 24 hours. I just figured that would be a good way to kind of cut down on trolls and possibly bots. I'm not popular enough for bots yet. Popular. All right, anyway. You guys are fun. Excuse me. Oh, yeah, you can use the emojis now. The special, I think you can use the special emojis. Figured they would pop up. I probably have to do that in the... I'm not a member. I'm not a member of my own channel. Hi, everybody! I see that there's a bunch of you. I'm Tiny Blue Dancer, and I react to Amberlynn videos. And I have a microphone in my face. There we go. Yeah, I'm super awkward. You see why I edit these things. There they are. There's the emojis. The little black cat's my favorite. The black cat and the one knocking the vase off the table. I don't know if you guys can tell that's what he's doing, though. Excuse me. There's a lot of editing that goes into my videos, mainly just me cutting that kind of crap out. Anyway. Thank you all for being patient. I clicked the button that said start the stream, and then it was like, you have to click the next button that says go live. And I'm like, where's the go live button? And it was right next to the start streaming button. So that took me a minute. Okay, good. Getting used to this. Okay, so, I am really bad at small talk. So there's that. I will say that I have not reacted to Amber's first official weekly weigh-in video. I've watched it. I just haven't reacted to it yet. I just haven't had a chance to. And she's kind of been dropping new videos later in the evening. So I was kind of wondering if she'd put like a whole new video down around this time. She probably won't because I'm counting on it now. Yeah, probably not. But I'll keep an eye on it in case she does. Otherwise, there's some retro... It's not really a retro react. There's, Orange Queen has a comparing Amberlynn's breakup videos. And Irked Content did every Amberlynn breakup video. I thought maybe those would be one of them. I don't really want to watch both of them because it's the same stuff. I thought maybe watching one of those would kind of be fun. Just because I really do want to see the... I mean, I was here for the Becky breakup, and obviously I've been here for Wifey. But I wanted to see the similarities between all of them. And I have a suspicion that the emotion that comes out during the Destiny breakup is probably going to be about the same level as the Wifey breakup, because Becky was rebound, and that's why she treated Becky so poorly, in my opinion. But I think that's also why the breakup didn't really hit her that hard, because she was never actually in love with Becky. So But she was head over heels for Destiny. Yeah, I've watched the video, and it's, on the one hand, I'm okay with her not telling us what she's doing, because in the past when she's done that, she's lost weight, and then she tells us what she's doing, and then she stops losing the weight. So, I mean, if her being super secretive about it is gonna keep her losing weight, I'm okay with it. She's a dry girl. She's a very dry girl. It's not, I don't think she understands that the reaction channels can react at any point. I've even looked at the statistics on my videos, and like, it doesn't matter what time I post them at, they still get the same number of views. So I would assume for even the larger channels, it has no impact on them whatsoever, dropping the videos late at night or not. I am reading comments. I give it like 4 more minutes. I guess, let's see. Type a 1 in the comments if you want to watch the first official weekly weigh-in with me, or type 2 if you want to do the breakup video compilations. They're unfortunately in order. Fortunately or unfortunately. You'll never believe this. I believe a lot of strange things. Well, there's one vote. I see we want to do the breakup videos. Okay. Your guys' names are cracking me up. I think I might do the Irked content video, because I've already sort of watched the Orange Queen one, so the Irked content would be new to me. Excuse me, I just finished dinner too. It was delicious. All right, well. The weigh-in is kind of meh. It's only like 10 minutes long, and yeah, for the most part. Somebody posted in the comment section a really interesting idea that Amber did get the weight loss surgery, and that's why she's dropping weight so fast, but also that's why she doesn't want to tell us what she's doing. I think it's an interesting idea. I don't think that's what happened, but I mean, plot twist, if it is. That'd be kind of cool for her, I guess. Finally doing the damn thing. Okay, if everybody wants to do the breakup videos, I mean, that's fine too. We can do that. I just really I want to compare the 4 of them. I was going to say the 2, but I want to compare the 4 of them and just kind of listen to what she says across all of them. I don't think we're going to be surprised by anything, honestly, but I'm just checking the time. I'm going to give it 2 more minutes and then we'll start. So, because I figure if anything's going to go wrong, it's going to go wrong in the next 2 minutes. Mercury is in Gatorade, so we have to be careful with our technology right now. I'm thinking she's got to be on some kind of like weight loss pill, or water pill. I mean, those are the same thing in my head. Thank you, Lin Lam. Yeah, I guess you guys should like the stream or some junk. Anytime, the problem with Amber being on medication, she gets prescribed stuff all the time, but she doesn't take it. I mean, every time we've seen her clean out that stupid cabinet in the bathroom, she's always got at least 1, if not 2, medical medicine bottles, like, you know, prescription medicine bottles in there. And you never see them after the cleanup. So she just doesn't take her medicine. She'd be a whole other person if she would just take her medicine regularly. Is MRTH like the stuff they make in abandoned trailer homes in the Midwest? She's afraid of meds like I'm afraid of spiders. It's just an excuse for not taking care of herself. Not that spiders are an excuse for me to not take care of myself. I've kind of gotten over spiders, is my point. Other than starting late, I don't think I've screwed anything up yet. But I also haven't told the video to play yet, so fun times. If it was that, she wouldn't have any teeth and we wouldn't have to worry about it anymore. Meth mouth is a thing. It's a real thing. I don't understand medicine like she does. Guys, she doesn't understand nutrition. But the best part about that is that she's crying when she says that. She doesn't understand nutrition like I do. All right. Here's the thing. Amber probably does have a good chunk of knowledge about nutrition. The problem is that she doesn't apply it. It's like it's like, you know how you can know something, like you know the moon is the moon, right? But you don't really understand the moon because you've never been to the moon, kind of a thing. I know she doesn't believe we've gone to the moon, but we really have, I promise you. And it's just that kind of a thing. Like, she has the idea of nutrition and she has like the talking points of nutrition, but the actual like ability to apply it and the willpower to continue to do it, she doesn't have those. Those are the things she's lacking. So like, she probably could have a real conversation about nutrition and probably actually say correct things. But the reality is that when she has to go and start doing the things that she talked about, she doesn't know how to do that. Also, my English is going to be A+ tonight, so. She doesn't execute any plans. She likes to plan and she likes day one. And after day one, it's not day one anymore. I can't see her doing the hard diet things because you're not allowed to cheat at all. Well, you're the only one holding yourself accountable, but the whole point is that you're not supposed to cheat at all, and I just don't see her doing that. Aw, thank you, Lori Williams. That's sweet of you. I'm afraid to touch the chat thing because I don't want to screw it up. Carbs carry oxygen to the brain. I mean, I need a dictionary of like, I need a book that's like the quotable Lynn, and it's just quotes by Amberlynn Reid. Books is good for the brains. Carbs carry oxygen to the brain. She's got a lot of concerns about her brain. Yeah, any form of effort is not for Amberlynn. She's definitely one of those people that's like, Monday is the day we're gonna start on Monday, and it's like, just start now. Like, even if the whole day you've been eating like crap, just start now. It's fine. She's also one of those people where if she so much as even like slips up a teeny tiny bit on a day where she was doing okay, she just then throws it all to the wind because she's just like, I screwed up here, I may as well just screw up the rest of the day, as opposed to just being like, okay, oops, I did that thing, how about I not do that for the rest of the day, kind of a thing. The Book of Halar. Sorry. I think even at I'm trying to keep up on all these. If I miss you guys, it's not a thing. It's not on purpose. The Amberpedia. Okay, but if it has phonetic spellings, that would be much easier for me. All right. Okay, let me switch over to the reaction setting, and hopefully that's not going to mess anything up. Fingers crossed. Hey. Well, it says it's still picking up my sound. All right, and then I need to have it so that we're watching that one. And then that one. There we go. Live, laugh, love. The moon landing happened, I swear. Yeah. Well, that's true. If it happened before you were born, it doesn't count, so. You can hear a rustling when I speak. You can probably hear my AC in the background. The way my mic is set up is to dampen noise. But when I start to speak, the noise gate shifts. So you're probably hearing, you know, I can probably turn that off. Maybe. I'd have to stand up. Hang on. If it's really driving you guys crazy, I'll fix it, but otherwise I don't want to move. I'm lazy. All right. If you guys are ready, I've got this every Amberlynn breakup video from Irked content. Got it queued up, and I'll watch it and try to keep an eye on the chat. I think I can move the chat. Oh no, what did I do? Well, that kind of works. What if I put it over here? Aw, look at that. Well, now I can't really see everybody's messages. Hang on. Sorry, I'm learning a thing. There we go. All right, now I can see everybody's chat. All right, cool. Yes, video, and then I will keep an eye on the chat, and feel free to comment. So, will it bother people if I speed this up a little bit, though? Amber just talks way too slow for me. Most of the girls in Girl will talk too slow for me, except for like Rosie Jean. Rosie Jean is on a whole other level. She is very animated. I have nothing against it. She's just very animated. I can't speed her up at it. Sometimes I slow her down. Anyway. All right, let's just start. I don't know what I'm waiting for. Whoa. To not deafen myself. That's what I'm waiting for. There we go.
Hello everybody. This is probably gonna come at you guys as a surprise, because it came at me as a surprise, definitely.
Let me know if you guys can hear her okay.
And crazy hair. I literally just woke up. I'm gonna make this video as short as possible. I was going through something the last quite a few vlogs, to be honest. Doing a lot of crying off a camera and just trying to figure stuff out. A lot of people guessed what I was going through. I'm not sure how. Lucky guessed. About a month ago, I was having some troubles in my relationship. I keep about 99% of my life private, and the other 1% I do like end up telling you. Crystal.
If she keeps 99% of her life private and we only see 1% of it, that is a hell of a life. It's just, that's a lot. If we're only seeing 1% of it, which I also don't believe, but. And I also think from the Crystal era going forward, I think she got used to sharing more and more of her life because, again, her life narrowed down so much over this time. And so maybe in the Crystal era, she actually had stuff going on. But by the time where we're at now, this is her life. So, of course, we're seeing the majority of it. Turn her up just a little. Let me know. I just turned her up. Let me know if you guys can hear her better.
And I were having like a little issue.
She's still too quiet.
Get out for about 2 weeks We didn't tell anybody. We just kept everything private completely. And on April 1st, things kind of just...
Is that better sound-wise?
We decided to break up. I made a video on April 3rd, 2 days after the breakup. I literally cried the whole video. It was 14 minutes long. I cried the whole video. I was literally a mess because I never felt so heartbroken in my life. Because I love Crystal more than I have ever loved anybody in my whole life.
This is what I was expecting to hear.
Today is April 13th. It has been 10 days since that video was made. I deleted the video because I told you guys why we broke up. I opened up about the whole situation, but it just didn't feel right to upload to YouTube. I had a gut feeling that it wasn't right.
I mean, I wouldn't share that kind of information on the internet because I'm a very private person. So, like, I think it's a smart move not to share the full breakup. But then again, we went on to share the whole breakup. So, crap, I can't do that. We being the global we. She does say the exact same thing. But in her defense, like, the breakup from Crystal, if she's still friends with Crystal today, which there's some reason to believe that she is. Excuse me. If she's still friends with Crystal, I can imagine that they were close, or as close as Amber ever gets to people. So I imagine this breakup, being the first one that we got to see, was probably pretty rough for her. We don't see any of the other breakups before this, so we don't have that to compare to. But she does. So this is the beginning of, I've never loved anybody as much as I've loved so-and-so. I've never been this heartbroken. And she said something else that was a catchphrase of hers when she breaks up with people. But yeah, I mean, we're setting the groundwork for the repeats. And honestly, I think in the moment she is like, this is the biggest love I've ever had in the moment. Because like with Amber, she doesn't have a perspective. And again, the bigger she gets, the more sheltered she becomes and the less reality she interacts with. So like, this is her whole world. And this is the worst thing that's ever happened to her up to this point, kind of a thing. Yeah, I mean, every girlfriend was the love of her life. Okay, I can't see the chat well enough. No, stop it. I want it there. Let's see. It's a spreadsheet with instances of her using the word literally. Who are these people? Where is this spreadsheet? I mean, I'm not saying I wouldn't look at the spreadsheet. I'm just saying I wouldn't make the spreadsheet.
So
it's
I deleted
crazy.
it. Another reason why I deleted it is because about 5 days after Crystal and I broke up,
how old is she here?
Looked at me and she told me that she missed me. She feels like she'll
early
be with me again
20s.
one day. It's complicated. It's a very confusing situation because I'm still living with her. We tried to take the most grown-up approach over just the whole situation.
Okay.
We told everybody individually. First thought that a lot of people thought was that I'd be moving, and a lot of people cried because they didn't want me to move, and eye-opening how much people care for me here and how I'm loved and wanted, and it's crazy.
She really has a different view of reality than I think anyone else around her does. Like, either she doesn't pick up on when people are annoyed AF at her, or she just legit does not care. And so it just translates into her brain as everyone likes me, everyone loves me. I don't think I've ever heard her talk about somebody. That's not true, because when her and Rafe got into it, but even then she was like, oh, I'm just so disappointed in Rafe, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, yeah, because there's no fault here of yours whatsoever. And then I ramble. I'm sorry.
Crystal and I are the bestest of friends you could ever imagine. We have a connection
she does
that
look old.
I don't think we'd ever be able to find with anybody else. On April 1st and April 2nd, April 3rd, 4th, I cried more times than I could ever imagine. You guys probably saw I completely just gave up on vlogging for a little bit. Like, I didn't vlog as much, I didn't make videos as much. I was so broken. I was so depressed. Anything I'd look at, I would just cry. I'd look at Crystal and just cry, but I tried my hardest to keep keep my mind preoccupied. I saw a trainer, I was doing job applications, I was playing golf, but then when she told me that she misses...
She was playing golf? Fun fact, I've only played golf like once in my life, and I kept hitting the ball. I don't know how I did it, but I would hit the ball at just the right angle to make it flip up and go over my head. And it kept hitting, I think this was the Girl Scouts, and it kept hitting the Girl Scout leader, and she thought I was doing it on purpose. And I'm not saying that I wouldn't have done it on purpose. I'm just saying I wasn't doing it on purpose in this instance. But yeah, she wouldn't let me play golf anymore after that. Also, I don't like golf. I don't believe Amber played golf. I don't know, maybe she did. You can ride the little cart in between the holes, I guess.
Me, and she feels like we'll be together again one day. It made me have hope. I just wanted to tell you guys that yes, we broke up. I don't know how some people guessed it. I really have no idea. When I admitted it on one of my social links that you guys communicate to me, however you word it. Some people were calling me a liar.
Words.
Definitely not a liar. I was in this relationship thinking we'd be together forever because
there we go. That's
what
another one.
we'd say. And something changed, and there's nothing I could do about it. I would never keep someone in a relationship if they didn't feel it was right. That's not the type of person I am.
First off, I forget at this point what she even said, but the whole, like, I wouldn't keep somebody in a relationship. Does she not understand that by forcing people, or not even forcing, you can't really force people, but by emotionally manipulating and blackmailing people to continue to sleep in the same bed with you and to occupy the same space as you and to continue to take care of you even after they've broken up with you, that's basically forcing them to be in a relationship with you. You're manipulating them to stay in the relationship. I genuinely don't think she understands that. I don't think Amber understands that she does the things that she does. It's like the lying thing. It just happens, and her brain just doesn't keep track of it. Benevolent. She's very benevolent. She's benevolent and loving, and as soon as she learns the word benevolent, she's going to use that a lot. Mini golf. I was thinking it might be mini golf. I suck at mini golf too. I'm just reading the chat. Bye, Lori. Enjoy work. She did that to... Yeah, she did it to everybody. I don't know how much I believe that wifey isn't sleeping in the same bed, but I also feel like wifey was kind of like, I'm out kind of a thing.
Hey guys, so I have actually already filmed this video. It was over 18 minutes of me just...
That hair is going to drive me
I feel
nuts.
like it was me making a fool out of myself. I did nothing but cry the whole video, hence why my cheeks are so red right now. And I took about a 2-hour break after that video, and I said to myself,
I can't not
I wouldn't feel right uploading that video.
Okay.
I don't want to come on here and cry the whole video.
It's interesting to me that she always has to announce to us that she's been crying, and that she needs that feedback, or she wants us to know that she's been crying, and she wants that feedback of like, oh, Amber, I'm sorry you've been crying, kind of a thing. Maybe she hears that in her head when she says these kind of things. I don't think wifey's like left the state, but I think she's definitely found some place to be during the day.
Anyone who has been following me.
How did you still not get that
for
hair?
quite some time, as you guys know. I've had my fair share of moments, and you guys know Destiny. You guys have seen that whole journey unfold, and Destiny saved me from a dark place. Like,
I like how all of her girlfriends are saviors too. They've all saved her somehow, mostly from a dark place. I've been in relationships where I've been like, this is the best thing that's ever happened to me, kind of a situation, but like, I don't look for relationships to save me. Is that what I'm trying to say? I'm not saying I don't have incredibly supportive and loving relationships. I'm just saying, like, that's not the reason I get into a relationship. I get into a relationship because I want to be with somebody who is an equal and we want to have a good time together. You know, I don't know. Maybe I'm weird. I don't know. I had a thought and it completely left my head.
she is... I'm like shaking. I don't want to cry. That's why I'm refilming this.
Whatever this... Oh, you can't see it because I'm in the way. There's like a cat thing over
You
here.
don't have to be
Down here.
in a relationship
And I think
for
it's
to know
cute.
that. You don't have to be a family member to know that. On January 13th, ironically enough, it was actually Friday the 13th, Destiny broke up with me. Since then, I have filmed videos, I've put on fake smiles, I have cried every single time I shut off the camera.
I also think it's really interesting how she has to impress upon us how much she's sucking this up and she's hiding it from us and she's just being the brave little toaster that could. And it's like, if you have to tell us this, then it's not obvious and you're not doing that. That's the exact opposite of what you're doing. I don't know. I come from sturdy stock that like your foot falls off and they're just like, tape it back on and keep walking. It's nothing is until you drop dead, nothing's serious. And even then it's just like, oh, I guess you died. I come from an odd family, is what I'm saying.
I have screamed in my pillows. I have questioned if I am worth anything.
Sorry that's what you came in on, Susan.
She still accepts me. But Destiny accepted me at my absolute all-time lowest. She has seen me at my worst. And somehow she still thought it was the most beautiful thing she's ever seen.
I don't think you have to have a sympathy bone at this point. This thing's so far in the past. And also, like, there's only so much sympathy you can have for a breakup. It's a breakup. It's not, especially this breakup, it's not the end of the damn world. I mean, it is, I guess, for her, but in the grander scheme of things, I mean, there are a lot of other things that have much more use for a sympathy bone than Amber's breakup right now.
I look like crazy right now, but why she broke up with me or what happened, that whole thing is very like up to Destiny. But she broke up with me, and
I don't need
it is
proof
so
that
fucking-
she's...
like the most.
I know Amber lies. I do. It's why Amber lies that fascinates me, and it's the lies that she tells that are interesting to me, because the words and the lies themselves, she looks like she's praising. Hallelujah. It's the reason why she's lying and the story that she's building through those lies that fascinate me. Amber really could be a fairly decent writer if she would put the effort into it, because she's very creative. Unfortunately, she channels that into this fantasy world that she lives in, and she goes out of her way to protect herself by lying about it to keep that fantasy world up. And that's why she gets so angry when people challenge it, because then she has to let reality seep in a little bit, and that she doesn't like that. She doesn't want that reality. Absolutely nothing to do with this.
Craziest concepts of the world is the fact that you as a person can have your whole future planned out. Your
Exactly.
whole,
Bob
just
Smith.
everything's so planned
There's
out,
nobody she ever loved
everything
more
going for you,
than who she's
and
in love with now.
someone can just kind of rip that away from you and completely take that from you. And I feel like that's what Destiny did. We had so much planned. And I am so in love with her still. And I want her to know that, like I've told her, that I will never give up. I will never give up on her.
I never understood what she meant when she said... I've watched this in other things in the past. I've always thought that that was such a creepy statement. Like, if one of my old exes, back when I was in high school or like early college years, had said something like that to me, I would get a restraining order. I know that sounds extreme, but that just comes off so creepy to me.
I will try everything in my power to fix whatever is going on with her, and I will be there for her. And some of you were like, well, how come she's still in the vlog? Like, why did she say single if she's still in the vlog? We do still live together. We don't want to lose each other in the sense of like being friends and stuff. And we're even still sharing the same bed. I know a lot of you are going to be like, what? It's very much.
I've seen the lines from the Lesbian Cruise story. It reads like, not that I wrote a story about a lesbian cruise, but like just the general quality of it reminds me of stuff that I used to write when I was in high school. And I was like, yeah, that's good for a high schooler.
An attachment thing. I feel like I'm honestly not gonna be able to sleep alone. I just want my anxiety.
Thank you,
and
Susan.
depression is
I
through
appreciate the pat on the back.
But her breaking up with me
Or the head.
has done damage to my heart. It's completely broken.
Damage to my heart.
I didn't want to make this video.
Every one of her breakups break her. And maybe they do. I mean, just for a minute, maybe they do. Because again, she's got a very carefully crafted reality. And this is the time where her life starts to narrow down. So like, maybe the breakups are too much reality creeping in to her world. And so, yeah, it is a break for her. It's like, there's a word for it. I'm not a psychologist, so I don't know these words, but there's like a word for when you have a moment of clarity from your fantasy world.
I was hiding it from you guys. I was trying so hard to act like everything was okay and to act like, you know, I would ignore the question and...
Oh, you don't... Knight, you don't want to read any of that. You don't. You think you do, but you don't want to read any of that.
I would bypass everything that was mentioned about destiny, and because I was embarrassed, I'm hurt, I just feel like I wish I could turn back time and just fix everything. I have some things I have to work through. I have to work on myself, for myself. Destiny will always be a part of my life because she is literally just everything to me, and the breakup is all up to her, and I can't force her to be with me when she needs to figure stuff out.
Again, this whole concept of forcing people to be with her, but at the same time, like, so I asked, I was like, when did she live by herself? And a lot of you answered me, but also pointed out that when she was living by herself, she was still hanging out with Destiny and Dana. I mean, that's weird. And then on top of it, like, they were still driving her everywhere. So they were still probably hanging out with her. Like, how is that not manipulating people to be with you? And I mean, a lot of people can't say no because they're not assholes. And so they're trying to not be a jerk. So it is kind of forcing them to do that, to be there, kind of a thing. I don't know. Mr. Meaner Scott, I think if she put as much effort into writing and again, honing the craft as she puts into creating this fantasy world that she lives in, she could actually put out something decent. Will she do that? No. Because Amber's writing doesn't improve. Amber still writes like she's in high school because Amber thinks her writing is fine as it is. And any good writer will tell you that it's an ongoing process. Any artist will tell you that the goal is to continuously improve. The next thing that I write needs to be slightly better than the last thing I wrote, you know, kind of a thing. Stephen King comes to mind. Like, Stephen King is a genius. I'm sorry, he is. If you don't like his books, I'm sorry. But compare King's first book, which remembered the name of it and then compare it to like Bag of Bones, which isn't even his newest book. Like, Bag of Bones is amazing if you've never read it. It's not really a horror story. It's kind of more like a ghost story, but it's a beautiful book to read. And he's such a good writer, but it's completely different than what he wrote. I think Christine was his first book. But it's completely different than that book. Christine's still a good book, but it's not the same. It's not the same King. Amber doesn't improve because Amber doesn't believe she needs to improve. And that's probably why she won't lose weight. Amber probably thinks that she's fine the way she is and sees no reason to improve. And so she just doesn't.
I don't really know what to say.
She does lack insight, yes, visual show.
Do you want to tell them?
Ah, yes, here we go. I know this is the one you all have been waiting for.
Okay. I guess I'm gonna go ahead and just say it. We had broke up. It happened Sunday, and it was initiated by me. But the fact of the matter is
exactly, Alexi,
and reflect, and we just want different things in life.
I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't a Becky fan, but I wasn't like a Becky hater either. I just thought Becky just kind of like existed. And so I didn't really have an opinion of Becky because Becky was just kind of like blank. And I know why now, and it makes complete sense, but it's just like on the camera, it was just kind of like, there was no way to become attached to Becky because there was no like anything to get attached to, basically. This breakup was Becky's moment to shine. Like, the shade, and there's no shade yet, but during those live streams, man, Becky is a shade queen, and I appreciated it. But also here, Becky's taking the onus, and she's comfortable with it. Like, she's not proud of it or anything, but she's like, yes, this happened. This is why it happened. I am the one that initiated it. Becky's very straightforward and to the point, and I appreciate that because that's how I am. So She doesn't sugarcoat it very much, but she's still at the same time, like, Becky is genuinely trying to be supportive in this moment, even though I don't, there's none of that from Amber. There's just none. Amber is there to be consoled. She is not there to support.
You know, Amberlynn wants to leave Kentucky one day.
She did kind of manipulate Becky into the relationship visual show. Yeah, I believe that.
This is my home, and this is where my family is, and I don't want to leave. And, but I love
yeah, Shelley Daly, I figured out what was going. I mean, I watched. I saw that she was having struggles with the medication and all that. I mean, I know now what was going on. It's just in the moment, it was just kind of like, oh, it was Becky. Kind of a thing. Like I said, I didn't not like her. I just didn't like, I wasn't like a fan or anything. I like her now. I hope she does well. I know she's going through some really dark crap right now, and I 100% empathize and sympathize because I have been there. Maybe not the arresting part, but I've been in that hole, and I understand. And I really, really hope she's able to get out of it in a healthy way, because I think Becky's a really cool person. And I think Becky will be a very strong person after they crawl out of that hole. So I think after Becky gets out of that hole, like, no one is ever going to screw with Becky again. She's just not going to take people's shit.
I love her. I don't care what anybody else thinks of her. I know who she is. And she has her faults, and I have my faults too. But it's like, you know, we've been together for 4 years.
No, I'm dyslexic, so it's all kinds of fun things when I read things quickly.
And it's like, Amberlynn tries to start Jenny Craig and all these other things. And I'm going to be honest, I don't join them with her. I should, but I don't. But it's not like I'm also going out of my way to eat horribly in front of her or suggest we order this or do this. No, I don't do that. But I'm not strong enough to be that support right now. But I want to always have this one in my life. And not even a dime. It's nothing to do with money. I just want her in my life. I want to go to Oklahoma if, you know, you move there, or California, or if you move to Virginia, like all these places you've mentioned that you could go to someday. I want to travel. I've never been west of Kentucky. I'd love to go see you wherever you go.
I want that too. You know that?
I just feel like this is the healthiest choice for us both.
She can't not look at herself in the camera. Even when Becky looks up, she's looking at the audience. She's not looking at the camera. Like, you can tell the difference. Amber's looking at herself. Like, she has to make sure that she looks right, which just cracks me up. She truly has this image in her head of what she looks like and what she should look like at any given moment, expressing any given emotion. But, like, she doesn't take really good care of herself to, like, look good. I'm not trying to be a dick. I'm just like, she doesn't really take care of her outward appearance very well, but she thinks she does, and she thinks she's like this fashionista queen, and it just blows my mind that there's that much of a disconnect.
I'm hurting.
No shit.
You guys have no idea, like, it's, and I'm sure some of you understand, like, I'm just afraid that I'm never gonna be okay again, you know? It's just really scary. No, Becky, even with Destiny, I knew Destiny had some chick on side, but that's a whole other story.
Okay, the biggest problem with dyslexia is learning how to spell that fucking word. I've had to write it on so many different papers throughout the years because, like, you can get some relief as a student, but you have to spell the damn word. It's like the most unfair thing in the planet to spell. Like, those are letters that never get used in any other damn word. You just need to throw a Z in there somewhere, and it's like the worst word ever. Anyway. Fun times.
But, Becky's not like that. Becky, like, when me and her first got together, she was very hard, to, like, to have her open up and let her wall down and stuff like that, and, it's gonna be virtually impossible to do that now, but I wish her nothing but the best.
All right, this whole, hang on, let me get back into the video. Even when we first got together, Becky was really hard. She didn't like to express her emotions, and now there's no point in that. The love bombing thing is real. And she definitely love bombs the crap out of people. And That's one of the red flags between her and Feline that I didn't like, was they were both doing it to each other. And I'm just like, because that's what her and Destiny did. They just love bombed the crap out of each other. And it's a huge red flag in my book. Anyway, that's my book. I think Becky's more down to earth. Becky's more practical. Becky's more like, more logically minded. And I don't think Becky knew what to do with the love bombing. I think it confused her. This is my thoughts. I have no proof of any of this. And I think that's why she was so standoffish towards Amber, because I think in her head the whole time there might have been a little alarm bell that was going off the whole time. But I also think Becky genuinely liked Amber. Becky's the one that reached out to Amber first, as I recall. And I just don't think Becky realized what she was getting into until it was way too late. But yeah, just Amber describing her in that way tells me how hard Amber had to work to convince Becky about the relationship. Does that make sense? Like, she probably had to love bomb Becky harder than she's ever had to love bomb anybody. And I can say that word 5 or 6 more times in the sentence. But she had to work to get Becky into that relationship. And I think that's why Becky tried to make it work for so long, because it's like the lost cause fallacy. No, that's the other one. Damn it. What is it? I looked it up the other day. Anyway, basically you've already invested so much time and energy, and for Becky, emotions into this. And Becky's very close with her family. So if she started viewing Amber as part of the family, she's going to go out of her way to maintain that relationship, because now it's a familial relationship, not just random stranger relationship, you know? So, I mean, I can sit here and I can pick apart why I think Becky stayed in the relationship. It's not victim blaming or anything. I can understand why Becky didn't leave, is what I'm trying to say. And it says more about Becky's character and about Becky as like not a shitty person. You know, it's just like really taking advantage of somebody who's a good, caring person. I mean, Becky can be a total butthead. I mean, that's happened, and it's on the internet. So, I mean, we have evidence of that. But I think in the long run, Becky was defending Amber in the more recent situations, like when she went after Rafe and all that. Becky was defending Amber, and that's why she did that, because Becky was like, this is what you do. You defend your family, you know, you defend your girlfriend, kind of a thing. And Amber just used that. And I'm impressed. I was impressed at the time, and I'm still impressed now that Becky broke up with Amber, honestly. Because that could have been a really bad situation for even longer than it was. Let me catch up with the chat real quick. Future faking. That's a good word. Dynamic creepy. Yeah, they are creepy. Wifey and ALR are creepy, Bob. I agree with you. Sunk costs. Thank you. Susan, thank you. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to walk away from things that you invest in. I mean, even if it's not even just a relationship, it's harder to walk away from emotional things like a relationship. But like, some people stay on the wrong job for way too long, or, you know, you stay in a house you can't afford for way too long, or just anything, you know. It's just like, at some point you have to just be like, and walk away. It's rough, but you know, we've all done that. We've all had that moment in our lives. She tried the ultimatum thing. I wonder what I don't want to bug Becky. I'm of the opinion that if Becky doesn't want to talk about it, I'm not going to bug Becky about it. But I am curious what the ultimatum was. Did Becky ever mention it? Because I haven't watched any of her stuff, honestly. So Amber doesn't have friendships. I don't think Amber's capable of a friendship. I'm going to scroll up a little bit. Oh, no, I'm not. I got all of these. out. Yeah, Bob, the whole like, we're engaged, we're going to spend our lives together. The way she talked her way out of the engagement was really gross.
And the best is not me. So.
Wow, that eye roll. Hang on, can I back that up?
The best. And the best is
Watch,
not
watch.
me. So.
Side eye. Sorry.
Of course it's not. I was like, I'm gonna miss her family. Like, there's just a lot of like different aspects to the situation. It's like not just, you know, losing her. I'm losing a lot, and things are just going to be very different. Like thinking of all the stuff that's happened in the last 365 days, like in the last year. I don't know why I keep saying 365 days. Like that's so weird. It's
because you're quirky, girl. That's why. You gotta do it differently.
like next year is gonna be. I'm gonna be looking back at this very moment, and I hope that I can sit there and say, "Wow, I made it through." But I don't know.
I mean, technically, the year after that, you were sitting there with wifey, so I guess, did you even think about it? I'm sorry.
We're both hurting, but we know that it's the right thing. Mainly on her end, of course, because if you guys are new to the stream, like, it was her who brought it up first, but if you guys go back and look, you know, I don't share my poetry with you guys, obviously, anymore, because people are so rude, but I've written sad poetry, you know, because I haven't always felt 100% in this relationship, you know?
And here we start laying the groundwork. She does it fast, and she does it early. She did this shit, she's been doing this shit with the Feline breakup too. I wasn't always happy in this relationship, you guys. I was writing sad poetry. You don't understand the doubts that I had. I wrote poetry about it. Sure you did.
I've been lonely. I have felt lonely. I have felt alone. I haven't felt 100% happy myself, and
see the whole setup, the whole groundwork here. She's just laying that base layer down.
you know, we still love each other very much, and that's not ever gonna change. And
yes, it will. I'm sorry, I keep stopping. I'm sorry. This irritated me, but anyway.
it's weird because, like, as friends and as like a company with one another, like our presence with one another, like we're great. But then when it's like relationship, that's where it's like we needed to just cut it off there. But
we needed to cut it off. We decided to cut that off.
yeah, I kind of feel like I'm dreaming. It's a nightmare, and like I keep trying to wake myself up, but it's like not. Like I'm awake. This is it. This is real. Hello. So I don't know if I'm gonna regret this, but
These little, I'm not gonna lie, these little things in the corner, I really like them. They're very well done. They're like collector cards. I kind of wish I had a set of them. I would put them on my little poster board back here.
I don't know. It's like a little video diary.
And now she's loud. Sorry.
Feline and I have broken up. It was mutual. This was mutual. There has, like, I'm gonna speak for myself. There has been some things that just, like, I don't have to go into detail. Love just isn't enough sometimes. And
now she used that at least. She used that on the Becky breakup. And I think she used it on the Crystal breakup. I don't remember if she used it on the Destiny breakup. But, I mean, 3 out of 4 is still a lot. She has not aged well, no. And a lot of that is just the weight. And she's sick. I know everybody keeps saying she's healthy, but she's not. There's something, and in general, she could just be in bad health because of the obesity, but she's sick. It might not be something that can be fixed with anything other than actual weight loss. But yes, we're still live. Hello, Fuzzball. Glad to see you. Nat goes there. Exactly. She broke up with me, but it was totally mutual, you guys. Bob says, I bet the reason Amber doesn't already have someone else is because she's not having much luck. That's 100% what I think. Amber is getting to an age where it's A, hard to date in general, and B, she doesn't go anywhere. How's she going to meet people? She's going to have to use an app, kind of a thing. Could you see Amber app dating? Amber on Tinder. That'll last. And it just she doesn't have anything to offer in a relationship. Like, she's, unless someone is using her for something, she just doesn't have anything to give. And that's sad to say. It's, and I'm not being mean. She just like, what are you going to do? Sit around and play Legos? I mean, that's something you do when you're in high school, like early high school, not something you do when you're in your 30s going on your 40s. She's still early 30s though, so.
I
Breakup
know
bingo. We need that.
what I'm worth. And I know it might not be like a lot to some people, but I know like what I deserve and I know what I want, and I just need to be single. I don't know what to say. Like, I know.
Am I being objective? Am I being objective or objectable? Sorry. Interesting here. This is why I'm like, I think it probably was at some point mutual. I think one of them started it, or Amber threw it out as like a gotcha, and then Feline was like, yeah, okay. I think it was mutual, but not in the way Amber wants us to think it is. But the reason why is because of this whole talk about like, I know what I'm worth, I know my value kind of thing. I don't recall that exact language before. But it also gave me like this tiny bit of hope that she had like kind of developed as a person, which, you know, I shouldn't have had, and I know better. I don't know why I thought anything had changed.
Oh, there's probably going to be a lot of people questioning and saying you seemed so happy, and yeah, like the relationship I had with Feline was literally the most passionate relationship I've ever been in, but on both sides of the spectrum. On both sides. And I just, she's my best friend. I just look around at everything, and it's like I look over in my kitchen and I'm like, that's the first place she could.
I don't care about the kiss. She is her only friend. She's her best friend because she's the only friend. So yeah, this breakup is probably harder for Amber than any of the other ones have been, because at least with the Becky breakup, she was ready to get rid of Becky, and probably had been before Becky even broke up with her. So that she was already done with that relationship, but she doesn't end things. Like, that's been pointed out more than once. This one probably is hitting a lot harder because she is so dependent on Feline for everything. Amber can't take care of herself, or she probably can. She's just never had to. And so the idea of doing it is probably very scary to her. But yeah, I do feel like this breakup probably did actually hit her harder, but only because the loss is greater here. I don't know if she's actually feeling like a love loss, because I don't know if Amber can actually like feel that emotional connection that a lot of people would associate with love. I think Amber thinks she can, but I don't think she really can. So I don't know if she's really feeling that, or if she's just like, the calculations are going through her head of all the things she's going to lose once Feline leaves for good. She has no identity. No, she does not. I'm going through the comments. Hang on. My cats are getting fed. She does look unwell, yeah. You don't have to feel sympathy for Amber to like analyze Amber. It's actually easier. I don't when I'm doing this kind of stuff, I'm not necessarily feeling sympathy for her, but I am trying to like relate. So that kind of a thing. Yeah, Amber's life revolves around social media, and if it's not like a social media perfect relationship, she gets irritated. And I think that might be why she was kind of over Becky, is because she couldn't get that social media perfect relationship with Becky, because Becky had shit going on. Becky had her own problems that she was definitely trying to work through, and still is now trying to work through, because she was never given a proper time to mourn. And immediately after her mother, Amber gets this new scary thing, and she's got to take care of that. And I think Becky was emotionally invested in the relationship, so that probably was hitting Becky pretty hard. Amber clearly didn't have the same emotional responsibility to the relationship. I mean, as Bob, as far as blaming her for being terrified, I kind of do. I mean, she's put herself in this situation. Nobody put her here. She did this to herself. But she is still here, and it's still her experience, and she's still going through it. So I mean, it's that kind of a thing. I can't negate the emotions and the feelings that she's having at this moment. They're very real for her, even though from a distance you can be like, grow up, but she can't. And understanding that kind of puts her in perspective a little bit better. She puts all she is into somebody. Yeah, exactly.
But then there's also probably a bad memory in that same spot. You know, it's like not everything is perfect behind the scenes. Honestly, it doesn't even matter why we broke up. It's personal, and we both have our own reasons.
Yeah, no, Bob, it's fine. I understand.
She's my other half of my heart, and I'm the other half of hers.
It's like a best friend necklace. Did anybody else have those? Best friend necklace. I had one that had the 3 different parts for me and my 2 sisters. I don't think any of us have any of the pieces left. I do have mine. I doubt they have theirs. Just because they move a lot.
But we can't be
not for mean reasons.
And even just calling her Feline is so hard because Bambi and Feline, like, it's not a thing anymore.
Thank God.
I also think, like, I'm partially in shock.
Oh my God.
I don't know.
Right there, the whole, like, I also think I'm partially in shock. She is so... This part, she is acting the way she thinks people in emotional shock should act. And she's picked it up from somewhere on the television. Jennifer, thank you for the member thingy. I think that's what it's saying. What is this? This is... Thank you for the green message. I'm sorry, I don't know what that means. I know it's an important thing. Amber says she felt like she lost a limb when they broke up. Yeah, she's losing, like, she's losing the person who goes and gets the remote for her when she's sitting on the couch. I mean, let's be honest. Yeah, the relationships, Visual Snow, the relationships that she's in are not equal relationships in a lot of ways. And one of them is emotionally. I honestly don't think Amber's capable of the emotional investment that it would take to be in a long-term, fulfilling relationship. And I don't think that's necessarily Amber's fault. Amber is the result of Amber's childhood, and I've always said that that's not been a pleasant time for her. But you also have the lack of inability to connect with people that comes out of that as well. So on the one hand, Amber's not capable of it. And on the other hand, she doesn't try to compensate for it either. So anyway, but she thinks she's a kind, loving, altruistic, giving queen. She is Mother Teresa.
It's like, how do I go on? Like, it physically feels like I've lost, like, a limb, or I don't know how to explain it, but it feels like...
Oh, Jennifer, welcome to the membership. Thank you, Shelley. That's what that means. Cool. Maybe it'll tell me that if I was on... Yep, YouTube. But all I have is the chat on OBS, which is working so far, I think.
I was hit by a truck a million times over. Just...
Thank you, Fuzzball. Thank you very much. My #1 fan. I love that it's a pair. I love that it's a pair with, like, a workout band. I love that so much.
Repeatedly, over and over and over. Like, I just feel like I can't live without her, but I know that I have to, because it's just...
Motherlynn.
Like, I know what I deserve. Even though sometimes I act like I hate myself, like I act like it.
This was my other favorite part. I act like I hate myself. I act like it, but I don't actually believe that. I've never believed that you believe that. I think Amber has stuff about herself that she doesn't like, because we all do. But whenever she's going on about herself and she's like, no one hates me more than I hate myself. Girl, no, stop. No one believes that. Not for a minute. As far as the like mourning thing, Amber has no respect for other people anyway. But, I mean, that's been evident with the whole D8 thing, but on the one hand, yes, it's disrespectful because, like, we are capable of actual emotions and actual empathy and actually, like, thinking our way through these situations that, like, even though I'm going through a bad situation, there are people who have it worse than me. But in the same vein, I'm still the one going through the situation. These are still real emotions, real situations, real pains in my butt. You know, it's my reality that's being affected. That's what's happening here. Whether we sympathize with it or not, Amberlynn is still going through it because that's how Amber feels like she feels that moment. My therapist and I have gone round and round about this, not with Amber, with myself. She's like, you're allowed to feel emotions. I'm like, that's cool and all, but Amber's feeling emotions, whether I agree with her emotions or not, is irrelevant because they're not my emotions. And again, Amber doesn't think about other people, so of course she's not thinking about other people who might be suffering and going through even more than she's going through.
There's a part of me that cares. And I care about Feline as well. It's like, she deserves the fucking world.
You can dislike her all you want, man.
And it's like, I could only give her a part of it. I can only give her a part of it when I want to give her the whole thing. And by breaking up, you know what? I kind of am. I don't want to, like, shower. I don't want to do anything. I kind of just want to, like, eat.
How is this different than your everyday? And here, okay. Can you guys see her face okay? There's the emotion on her face is not congruent. Is that the word I want? It's not matching up. Okay? I've been watching way too much of like the body language guys, and it's just not, it's not lining up how someone who's actually feeling these emotions, the emotions that she's trying to portray, it doesn't line up with that, in my opinion. Yeah, Rach, I'm not diagnosing her. I just feel strongly that, yeah, Amber's damaged. Amber's damaged goods, man. And that affects the way she does things. And so, yeah, I think her ability to, again, have a fully give and take emotional relationship, adults, stable relationship, I don't think she's capable of it, which is unfortunate. But I also think that if she would go to therapy and learn that and admit it and work on it, I think she could. I think anybody can if they want it. But the reason she won't go to therapy, somebody was like, why won't she go to therapy? Because going to therapy is hard. It's really hard. Because you have to sit there and self-reflect, and then you have to ask yourself why you're doing it, and then you have to think about why, and then you have to dig up the emotions, and it's just, it sucks. Okay? And you have to deal with it. You have to deal with yourself, which is the worst, by the way. And yeah, that's why she won't do it, because it's a lot. It's a lot. It is a smile, Rach. It is. I mean, look at it. It's even turning up. Anyway. Yeah, she does regurgitate. That is that word. She does parrot and I've talked about it. She mimics and she mirrors what she sees other people doing on the internet, especially if it's somebody that she wants to be like. So she'll copy them pretty closely. Like the whole toxic gossip train thing. She wasn't trying to be like the weirdo. She was trying to be like H3 because she thinks she's on their level. She talks about them constantly. She thinks they're friends. I don't know if they know they're friends, but she definitely is friends with them. And that backfired because she didn't understand why they were doing it. She just saw that they were doing it and she wanted to do it too. Excuse me. I'm very sorry. Mermaid Princess. Yeah, she's just using this. She's just setting this up as her excuse to eat garbage like she did for what, 2-3 weeks? Yeah, Nat goes there. It's a preemptive, I hate myself more than anyone else. It's a preemptive method. She does that a lot. She'll make fun of herself first because I think in her head it either beats people to the punch or it softens the blow for when it eventually does happen. She's like, "Oh, you can't make fun of me. I've already made fun of myself." Yeah. It's very childish. Where did we go? I'm losing it. Yeah, we all have a little narcissism in us, though, Rach, sorry. No, Mr. Meaner Scott. I do that at watching people with the sound off. Yeah, that's a fun exercise. We can't bin Amber. We need Amber. Yeah, facing yourself is the worst. It's the worst. Yeah, and Amber can't read her room. Yeah. Hello, Schnooky puts. Schnooky. Where is Schnooky from? I love that word, by the way. We're all perfect. We're all perfect, unique butterflies.
I just want to eat. I just want to eat. I just want to turn to food. I want to numb it out. I'm just lost, but I know that it has to happen.
She's just acting.
And I have to keep reminding myself of that it has to happen. And
the lip licking and the head nodding and the jump cut for one. The problem with jump cuts, they make you look guilty, whether you're guilty or not. I mean, for all we know, she burped and she just cut it out. You know, that's 90% of my cuts. I've sneezed or I've scratched my nose or I've yawned or something, you know. But if done badly, it'll make you look guilty. With Amber, it's like really hard not to suspect her of something. Because it's just like, you just know. Fuzzball's right. Like, one of the reasons, this goes back to like Amber doesn't improve because Amber already thinks she's perfect. She already thinks everything she does is the best. So why improve?
I have to keep a healthy distance from her because like she's still trying to hug me and stuff like that, and I have to tell her like I can't.
Oh my god, Schnooky puts is sweetheart in German. Oh, I'm calling my boyfriend that from now on.
Like, it hurts too bad. And in the past, like, I didn't want my ex to not sleep in the bed with me, but I don't want her in the bed with me. And I slept without her last night, and it was horrible.
The whole sleeping by herself thing is just weird. My partner and I have been together for 12 or 15 years, depends on which one of us you ask. We slept in the same bed for majority of that time. Like, literally the majority of it. I love sleeping in the bed by myself. He spent like a month or so traveling back and forth from one of the Carolinas, for work. And man, that was great. I had the whole bed to myself. It's just me and the cats. It was great. Anyway, I don't get it. Also, I know this sounds mean. I know it does. But like the physics of fitting Amber and whoever in the same bed comfortably, I kind of want to see how that works. It must be like a Jenga puzzle. I don't understand how everybody fits. I know she's got a large bed, but dude, she has to turn sideways to walk down a hallway. I'm just saying. And yeah, Bob, she's trying to garner sympathy. She's trying to garner sympathy from people who haven't watched her live. It's like when I was talking about in my analysis is if I just take the transcript and just put it into Chat GPT and don't tell it anything, it analyzes it and spits out this really kind of interesting, emotionally available person that you would actually kind of care about. And then you give it some, you feed it a little bit more information, and ChatGPT will never be mean, and it will never say anything negative. It will couch everything in a certain way. It'll sandwich it, but it does start to change what it says about Amber, basically. So I can teach it for a little while, and then it forgets what it's doing, and then I have to start all over again. Yeah, and the making fun of herself thing, yeah, visual snow, it's bait. Yeah, Theo Shadow. Yeah, that's the problem with Amber. Like she's always kind of suspicious even when she's probably telling the truth. I mean, she's got to tell the truth at some point. I don't think Amber's ever taken Amber's editing. The things she chooses to leave in versus the things she, I assume, takes out is interesting to me, because sometimes it's just, some of it is just so completely unflattering, and it's got to be troll bait. But even then, like, why would you want that as your troll bait? But let's see. Mermaid Princess. It might be a control thing, I guess. Yeah. I think it's interesting that Wifey isn't supposedly doing it. I mean, for all we know, she is. But supposedly she's not. And I do kind of sort of wonder what's different about Wifey versus everybody else, other than, I don't know, because it's like I guess she's actually younger than most of Amber's girlfriends now. But she's roughly the same age as the girls. I don't know. Timelines are timey-wimey. ChatGPT can't be mean. I mean, you can probably eventually get it to say something mean, but it's rough. It takes... I've tried to get it to say mean things, and it keeps telling me it can't say that because it's an AI. And I'm like, damn it, you have an opinion. And it's like, no, I don't. So it's fun to talk to ChatGPT. I feel like Nat goes there. I feel like she'd have to have like a bespoke bed, like a bed that was designed specifically to fit her and someone else. I know that sounds mean, but let's see. Whatever did happen to that super ass fancy bed that they had that like vibrated and massaged your head and lit up and like levitated 9 feet off the floor or something like that? I don't remember. But it was like the super fancy bed. I went somewhere. Yeah, I mean, Alexi, absence makes the heart grow fonder, usually. And Amber doesn't like those absences. What was that? Hey, there we go. That's a neat trick. AI is a little freaky, especially when it starts like when it starts thinking. It will do that. It's kind of weird. The nice thing about ChatGPT is it forgets. So I don't know if anybody else has used ChatGPT. I love it. I really do. Each conversation you have with it is self-contained. I think they have a new option now where you can let it search through past chats to use to use information from past conversations in the current conversation. But up to this point, it's whatever you're talking about in that instance is all it knows. But it only full attention. You sometimes have to stop and start over in a completely new instance to keep it on full attention. You sometimes have to stop and start over in a completely new instance to keep it on track. So like you could teach an instance about Girl World, but it's going to forget everything in a minute anyway. Yeah, Unag Unag? Yep. I forget she does sleep sitting up. How she hasn't... Here's my biggest fear for Amber. Is she's just literally not going to wake up one day. Because she's just smothered herself. And I don't mean she's going to roll over on her stomach. I mean, she's just like... The weight of herself is just going to... smother her. But... Wow. Mermaid Princess actually confronting someone who was massive. And they were like, my body is physically taking damage taking care of obese patients because they are so heavy and cumbersome to take care of that it's breaking my body down. And somebody was like, well, you're just going to have to learn to lift weights. And it's just like, wow. Tell me you don't give a shit without telling me you don't give a shit. She does think like a child, yes. Amber doesn't even care that she's been caught lying. That's the interesting part about Amber. Like, she doesn't try... Sometimes she tries to backtrack it. Most of the time, she just kind of moves on. And she just kind of hand waves it. It's very interesting to me. Oh, yeah, the images are cool. They're expensive, too. I asked the AI for a workout plan. And it actually was a decent workout plan. So. Oh, that's crazy. Visuals now. How did you get it to do that? Yeah, I mean, just in general, moving like a normal person around. Yeah, she does seem to have an actual job. Wifey, Visual Snow. Wifey was a athlete. I don't know about the athlete part. Of a normal body weight who actually has a functioning work ethic. Was it Chikara? She was saying that from the few pictures that we think are wifey, she's actually kind of overweight. She's kind of built like me. She's technically obese, but because the size of Americans is so freaking huge now, like, I look small. I think that's kind of where Jade's at. No. Let's see. But as I was saying, you know, moving around, just an average human, just an adult human is hard. Even if you are someone of, like, strength. I mean, first off, it's a person. And secondly, dead weight's called that for a reason. You're just floppy and you're all over the place. I mean, and then add a pile of add 5 people to that deadlift, you know. Shelly, unfortunately, no, it will not do the exercise. It will tell you that it has, though, if you ask. Yeah, it's crazy though. Like, I'm a size 12 right now. And I started out as a size, well, I wasn't 18 and that's why I freaked out. But my average size was like a size 16. And even at a 16, I was considered average for an American woman. And I was just like, that's insane. That's absolutely insane. But I mean, even at a 12, I'm still technically in the plus size. But I can buy my clothes from the regular section now. Which on the one hand, I'm like, woo, I don't have to go to the plus size section, I guess. But it's also like, what has happened? But also, I can hardly ever find my size because it's the average size. Wow, that's... I did find that I could ask Chat GPT about Amber, and it knows everything up till September of 2021. Because I use Chat GPT 4. And I think it's technically 4.5. Actual 5 comes out next year, and I'm very excited. But it knows quite a bit about her, but again, it won't be mean. So it's very objective. When it talks about her, it'll say things like, she's perceived as doing this. There are accusations that she does this. And even when I type in and I'm like, she has been caught actually lying, it still tries to be very soft and non-committal about what it says about her. And that's just the AI. And I kind of actually like it. I like that they've done that, made it do that, because the AIs of the past did not have that, and they got corrupted very quickly in a very awful way. But so I'm okay with chat being that way, because it also, like, sometimes when I'm asking it questions about anything in general, but about Amber specifically, it reminds me to kind of like step back and just, I'm supposed to be looking at this kind of like from a distance, not like way up close where I have the blinders on and I can't see past the sides, you know, kind of a thing. I have my own opinions clearly, but I try to at least tell you that they're my opinions. Yeah, I don't even think I fall in the small fat category according to the fat chart that the FA people put out. I'm like below their cutoff for small fat, which am I a tiny fat? Am I micro fat? I can be a micro fat, I guess. I don't think the AI can be fat phobic, but you can ask it if being obese is healthy or not, and it will tell you no. So I guess it's fat phobic. You know, reality is fat phobic. Facts are fat phobic, I guess. It sucks, I guess. Oh man, you are tall. You are a size 34? You're only 2'10" at 6'5"? I would honestly expect you to be bigger than that. That's my personal... I clearly have no scale. Are you also a redhead? I'm just asking for science. Y'all are tall. I'm literally 5 foot. I can get to 5'1" if I put on the right shoes. Well, as I was saying in the comment section the other day, we need like the tall girl squad, because we definitely have like the short girl squad. All right, let's see. It's 9 o'clock. I really didn't have much planned beyond this. It was very fascinating watching all 4 breakups. It was what I expected to hear, the words that got repeated. It's very... I say this a lot. It's very interesting to me that when we got to the Becky breakup, she said the same things that she said in all of the breakups. You know, like, we'll always be together. She's my best friend. Love isn't enough sometimes. But she wasn't trying to sell us on it as hard as she did when she did the Destiny breakup and then the wifey breakup. And by the time we get to the wifey breakup, these lines and stuff are so rehearsed for her that when she starts to do the breaking down and crying part of it, it's just so performative that it's hard to take seriously. And part of that is, I swear, like, I believe she feels these emotions off camera, but I think when she gets on the camera, now she's acting, now she's performing, and she's like remembering her lines, kind of a thing. And I think that's why sometimes she just comes off as so fake. It's not necessarily because she is fake. It's just because she's performing in this way. It feels fake, you know? Sometimes. Other times, she's just making shit up. The Becky breakup was actually one of these things is not like another. The Becky breakup definitely is the odd man out, because she, especially longer into the breakup, with the live streams, she turned on Becky. And I think she was mad at Becky for breaking up with her in that, how dare you leave me kind of a way, you know? She wasn't necessarily upset about the breakup. She was mad that Becky had the balls to walk away, kind of a thing. Like, she wasn't even mad that she was losing her caregiver, even though Becky literally was her caregiver at certain points, which gold medal, seriously. But I don't know. It's just that breakup, the more you watch it, is the odd breakup out of the bunch. She does eventually get to the point where she starts throwing everybody under the bus, but that's usually at the point where she's like emotionally over it. With Becky, she was over it when the breakup happened. She was just mad that Becky is the one that broke up with her. I do find it seriously interesting as we're going forward in the wifey breakup that she's very subtly throwing wifey under the bus on multiple occasions now. And she's starting to throw shade. I will not be surprised at all if after she moves, assuming she does, that she feels safe where she can talk about the weight loss surgery, if she doesn't then really throw Feline under the bus and blame her for not getting the surgery in some way. She'll probably be like, oh, she wasn't supportive of it or something. And I won't be terribly surprised either if she decides to lean into the feederism thing after Feline is gone and start telling people, oh yeah, you know, one of the reasons I thought we shouldn't be together was because I started to notice that she's like into that thing. And, you know, and it's just like, can we talk about your 5 years worth of thumbnails? I am a tiny person, yes. I am a very small person. And the more weight I lose, the smaller I get. All over, which is disappointing. Except for my butt. My butt's not going anywhere. I was asking Bob what the hair color was. Good Lord. Come from a land of giants. I'm sure you hear that a lot. See, I always wanted to be like 5'4", just because I'd be able to reach the shelves in the kitchen. And bye, Sydney. If you left already, bye. I'm sorry. Her breakups are a hard sell because they're the exact same thing every time. Whoever she gets with, if she gets with anybody after Feline, it's going to be a rebound relationship. And it's probably going to be kind of ugly, like the Becky relationship was. The problem is Amber's not a catch. So people are less likely to put up with her crap. You know, she's not the crazy hot girl that you put up with because they're hot. She's not the manic pixie chick. Dream girl. She's not. She thinks she is, but she's not. So there's no reason for people to stick around, I guess, is my point. There's no payoff to it. Yeah, Mermaid Princess. The engagement meant nothing to her. It was just a way of like, I think that's the other reason why she was kind of shocked by the breakup, is because I think she thought once Becky and her were engaged that Becky couldn't go anywhere. Becky was trapped now. And I think that's honestly why Destiny never proposed to Amber, because Destiny didn't want to feel trapped, even though Destiny's literally proposed to everyone they've dated except Amber. What does that tell you? I don't even like Destiny. Let's see. Crap, I keep losing it. Yeah, she's Shelly. She's holding on to the shade until Feline's gone. Lynn Lamb, I don't know, because, and the reason why I'm not sure that Feline broke up with Amber because she didn't get the surgery is because I don't believe the weight loss surgery was real. I think Amber went, obviously, and got the pamphlet thing, the folder, and she signed up for that seminar. I don't know if she went. And I think after that, she had, there was 2 clips of her getting weighed in a doctor's office, but that could have been anywhere. And also, talk about those. Her face, when she was getting weighed in those rooms, like God, I need to find a picture of it and talk about it. The way her face is, she's just all smiles, and she's all timid, and she's all dainty, and she's like, I did a good job, right? I did a good job. Yeah. She's so so projecting a totally different personality than we see. And it's easy to understand why her doctors were probably like, "Oh, Amber, you're so cool. You're so, well, not even cool. You're so sweet. I can't wait to help you so that you can be a better version of yourself." I guess I could go back to the bigger picture. There, now you can see all of my expressions. I really should dig those up and look at them again, just because like her expression and her body language during those are so completely different than what we see on camera at any time. It's just really fascinating to me. And it just shows that like she knows how to play the audience when she wants something. Let's see, where are we at? Anyway, I still don't think that the weight loss surgery saga was, I don't think the weight loss surgery was real. I don't think it was ever real. I think she went and got some information on it, did like she usually does, and for some reason decided to string this out, and then got to the point where she had to shit or get off the pot, and so she got off the pot. Theo show. Yeah, it's a blessing and a curse. Oh man, you're gonna make me break that down into metrics. 15 meters? Is that even how you do it? I'm wee. Yeah, and I think that's probably what motivated Feline to leave. Is Feline's what, 27? She got shit to do. Yeah, my partner's like a full foot taller than I am. And he thinks it's funny to put shit on the top shelf. Or all the way back. That's the other problem. All the way in the back. I actually have like buffers in the refrigerator so that stuff can't go too far in the back, because I don't want to have to like crawl all the way into the refrigerator to get like the jam out of the back. That's interesting, Shelley. She was trying to get Wipey to propose at Christmas and she got earrings. I wonder if that was, I don't know. Considering Felina's the one that started the relationship with Hello Future Wifey. I mean, you're kind of leading somebody on. That's why I'm like, these two love bombed each other to the nines. Like they were both manipulating each other from early from the relationship. So that's why for me it was so creepy. There's a lot of relationship red flags there. Yeah, and I'm still trying to figure out why Amber won't wear the fancy earrings unless, like Shelley said, she was expecting a ring and got earrings, and so she's mad at the earrings because they're not a ring, and so she won't wear them out of spite. If that makes sense. The weighing at the doctors is awkward. The other thing that annoys me about that is like she takes the weight from the doctors and then compares it to the weight at her home scale. And it's just like, of course they're not the same. They're not the same scale. Your scale's probably off by a couple pounds. Mine is. When I go to the doctor and they weigh me there and then I come home and weigh myself, I'm always off by a few pounds. And usually I'm heavier at the doctor's office, so I ignore that number because I don't like it. But the point is, if you want a consistent if you want consistent data, you have to use the same device. So like I can ignore the one at the doctor's office because it's not the one I weigh myself on regularly. The one at home is. So even if it's off by 5 pounds, it's always going to be off by 5 pounds is my point. I'm still going to see the same amount of weight loss with it being off 5 pounds, even though like I'm technically 5 pounds heavier than I think I am. I'm still losing weight. It's not off as far as I know. It's off by like a pound, which I don't care. And she has done the weight loss thing before. I don't think she's ever dragged it out this long before, though. I do wonder what happened with the poly thing. Because poly relationships and people who are poly, it's kind of a thing. You just know you're poly kind of a thing. So asking someone who feels that way about relationships to become monogamous typically doesn't work. That's just an personal experience of mine. But I mean, maybe there's people out there who have managed to like box themselves in, but that could be Feline. I'm sure Feline has a laundry list. I'm sure this is just one of many reasons. There's no way it's just one thing, you know? Um, yeah, maybe the future. I think she does want to travel, but I don't think she wants to do the traveling. Like, she wants to go places and be somewhere, but she doesn't want to have to do the traveling part of it. Like, teleporters would be great. Um, and I mean, I don't blame her. At her size, it would be immensely uncomfortable, no matter how she chose to go. So, I don't think she's ever. She didn't even put those earrings on when she was gifted them. She just looked at them. All right, I'm 80% sure she didn't put the earrings on even at Christmas. Oh my God. Grocery stores are the worst. And I'm like too shy to go up to just random person and be like, "Can you get that from the shelf for me?" I just do without. It's fine. The young thing with the thing with the young partners is going to start getting creepy. Like early on when Amber was also young, it didn't bother me at all because it's just like you're roughly all in the same age. But and I know that there's like this whole subculture of like younger people who are really into older people, not like ancient old, but like older, mature people. And that's fine. I don't have a problem with it. Um but I mean, it would be interesting to see Amber try to date someone her own age. Just because the life experience gap is going to be so interesting to try to negotiate. Um Oh, that's right. You guys do centimeters. Okay, so yeah, just take whatever 2 inches is off of those centimeters, and that's my height. Yeah, it'll just be the daycare all over again. Sorry. I miss the daycare. Amber reacts to a 0.01 weight difference like she's dropped 10 pounds. It was just absolutely ridiculous. I'm enjoying the big butt talk. I am the shortest person in my family, but not by much. Most of the women in my family are either 5'2" or 5'3", where the men in my family are like near 6 feet tall. So I don't understand that one, but whatever. Men getting the tall genes. I definitely think Jade is leaving because she doesn't want to be in the relationship anymore. What that handful of reasons is, I'm sure I would be interested to hear, but again, that's Jade's story. Let her do it. She wants to travel from her couch. Yeah, they make VR goggles for that. Yeah, and it like Theo says, it also applies to her weight loss. She just wants to wake up thin one day. I don't think Amber doesn't want to be thin. She just wants to wake up thin. She just wants to go to bed one day and just wake up looking like Barbie. And you ain't Barbie. And even then, I don't think Amber could ever get to that size specifically because of A, excess skin, and B, just overall damage to the body. She's not my age, so maybe she's still in her 30s, and in your 30s your body is still like willing to like reshape itself somewhat. She's not fighting against like actual genetics at that point, but she's not going to do it. So, and it's just like the longer you're out that weight, I just feel like the harder it's going to be for your body to reshape itself. I'm not saying it can't do it, it's just going to be more difficult. And Amber, of course, loves to tell us about all the reasons why it's more difficult for her to lose weight than anyone else on the planet because super special Lynn over here. But the reality of it is she can if she just tries, which she won't do. That's why the mustard and cottage cheese diet, as weird as it was fine because she was basically just eating a salad. She was eating it the hard way, but at least it was vegetables. I'm sure somewhere out there's got to be another 30-year-old who is as equally arrested as Amber is. I just don't know where that person is. And if that relationship ever develops and Amber like vlogs it, I will be glued to the freaking internet watching that. That is a train wreck that I will not be able to look away from. I don't know if Amber could be with somebody older. I get the feeling like Amber has problems with authority and she associates authority with age. I've just picked up on that. That's just something I think. I don't have a ton of examples for it, but it's kind of like her thing with men. There are no men that are not attracted to Amber. If you've ever noticed that, like even in her, Mr. Snowflake, when he's reading her old posts, every guy she talks to wants her, even though she's a lesbian. You know? Yeah, Shelly, the whole weighing your thing, weighing yourself as like empty, it's, you know, bring yourself out like a rag. I don't get it. Just step on the damn scale. Oh, Joey, don't tell me that. Don't tell me that the bounce back isn't happening. Shh, shh, shh. Menopause is mean. She is in menopause, though. Maybe that's it. Maybe that's it. Maybe the menopause is, I don't know. Menopause messes with you. Maybe that's it. I don't know. Well, yeah, yeah, exactly. Imagine being in lockdown every day forever. If it's Mermaid Princess, if it's a medication, I am willing to bet she's not taking it, or at least not taking it regularly. Don't anybody die of choking here. Again, Bob, that is a train wreck I will be here for. Nat goes there. Yeah, exactly. Like, Amber can't be uncomfortable, which blows my mind because Amber doesn't like being uncomfortable. She doesn't like any kind of physical pain. And yet, I mean, every time I go to the gym, and I haven't been to the gym in a long time, not the day of, the next day, and sometimes the second day after, it is just agony. You know, vitamin I is a real thing in this household. And it's just, and that's me who's fairly active-ish. I mean, I'm not like a sports monkey or anything like that. I'm not like skiing and then swimming and then running and not all that crap. I walk a lot. That's about it. But Amber doesn't even do that. So, she does have a problem with older women. Shelly points out, yeah, that she fought with her mom and she's had issues. I noticed that she's had issues with every one of the exes' mothers. And maybe that's what happened. Maybe she got into it with Jade's mom and Jade was like, peace out. We don't know. But yeah, she doesn't seem to like older people or anyone who could be in a position of authority over. She doesn't even like the doctors. And it's not because they're doctors. She doesn't like that they're authorities. I've had her fan fiction read to me. It's actually, I did read it myself. She had a Wattpad account and I somehow found the link to it. I think it was through something. Someone had posted it. And I went there and I read that because there was the other story. I forget what it was about, but it was like two young people being stupid. And it was bad. Let's see. Bye, Alexi. Yeah, I think I'm going to wrap up. We've been on, what? Well, this will be 2 hours. I think 2 hours is good. Especially since apparently it took me an hour and a half to react to that 18-minute video. This is why my videos are so long. I try. I really try. I really do. And then I go to edit them, and I do actually take big pieces out. But even then, the videos are so long. And I'm glad you guys like the longer videos, but... yeah, going back to the gym after you've been away from the gym is like the worst. And like psyching yourself up to do it because you know it's going to suck. Like it's not even like you think it's going to suck. You're just like, God damn it, if I don't go now, I'll never go back. Yeah, Amber. That's the thing, like Amber's transparent. Once you have been around Amber long enough, and I think that's why she doesn't have any long-term friends, because she comes off really great at first, you know, innocent and giggly and not annoying yet. And then the longer you're around her, you do that. The longer you're around her, the more annoying she gets. And she's just, there's no redeeming quality there. It's just annoyance. So, all right. I'm going to wrap up here. I really appreciate everybody who came. This has been a lot of fun. I appreciate all your comments and stuff. I hope you guys enjoyed the reaction. I had a good time with it. Give me a second. But as you can tell, my voice is about ready to go. Yeah, and it's 9:30 here, so I'm an old person. I turn into a potato at 10, so unfortunately. But I hope you guys enjoyed this. I really appreciate I truly appreciate everybody who came. I will do this again in the future. I'm not sure exactly when, but it will probably be on a Thursday night because it's pretty much the only free night I have that's predictable. So if this time slot works for people and it doesn't seem to overlap with anybody else who streams, maybe Alex, because he does those marathon streams. But even then, I do appreciate everybody for showing up and everybody who commented. So, just want to make sure I'm not missing anything super important. Oh, Mr. Meaner. Yeah. Okay. So, all right. Before I leave, I started watching Amber. I have a friend who lives in the Philippines, and we communicate over the internet, obviously. And she watches a lot of just YouTube in the background because she does a lot of work. Anyway, she's like, have you heard about this girl, Amberlynn Reid? And I was like, no. And so she sends me a video. I don't even remember which one it was, but I watched it and I'm like, this can't be a real person. I was talking to her about it. I'm like, this cannot be a real person. This has to be a joke. She has to be putting on an act. This can't be real. And she's like, oh no, keep watching. And I did. And I'm like, holy crap, this is for real. This is a real person who's really doing this, who really thinks and talks and acts like this. And I was just blown away. And now we're here. So that is my villain origin story, I guess. But anyway, I am going to go. Thank you again, everybody. And I think if I hit stop streaming, it's going to kick the chat. But I appreciate it. And yeah,